Hi everyone, Janie here with
Sadie.
So we have it's fun, but it's also kind of sad at the same time. So for those of you who know, we've moved to the country last August, and we've had lots and lots of rats, gross, that we're dealing with. And now we're dealing with gophers as well. And one of the main recommendations to deal with all these rodents is to get barn cats. And I was open to the idea. Bo Jason and I were open to the idea. We have an indoor cat right now, Jeffrey, and we've talked to the vet, and the vet said he is not okay to be outside. He has no survival skills at all.
Yeah, definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
So Jeffrey is an indoor cat. And then, so we were kind of open to the fact of we might get barn cats down the road, but I didn't, how do you come across barn cats, right?
I don't know.
I know, like, you can't, I'm sure there's barn cat relocation programs and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't really look into it. This morning, I got a text message from one of my friends who saw a post on Facebook, and this is really sad. They live in a neighborhood, and they have barn cats there, and they found a new family moved into their neighborhood, and they have children, and the children apparently aren't very nice children, and we're basically torturing the cats. So this wonderful woman is working hard to relocate these barn cats, who apparently are very good mousers. And she didn't want to take them to the shelter because, it'd probably be really hard to rehome basically half feral cats, non-family cats, basically. So when my friend heard about this, she said, "This is perfect for you guys." And she was right. This is perfect for us. So I called the woman, her name is Sharon, and talked to her, and we are getting 3 barn cats now, right? So I did a quick little bit of research. This was kind of last moment. This just happened today. I found out that to rehome barn cats, you actually need to crate them, put them in a cage for at least 4 weeks, or else they'll just run away and probably get hurt on the side of the road or something like that. So for the next 4 weeks, we have to keep them in a cage, and I'm going to keep them under our carport area. So it's cool, if it was winter, I would put them actually in the metal workshop, but since it's hot, I'm going to put them in the carport, leave them in a cage, feed them, let them have a litter box, and then after 4 weeks, we'll start letting them roam free and hopefully get all the rodent population that we have, right?
Yes.
So Sadie and Shay is at camp right now. She'll be out pretty soon, but we are going to go ahead into the pet shop. We're going to get the cage,
food, bowls,
litter box,
litter.
And they said that you don't want to leave food out for rehoming barn cats. You want to give it wet food only when you're there, so that they get used to you and used to you as the person that are giving food. So anyway, we'll see how it works. How many animals do we have now?
So we have 3 chickens, 1 dog, 1 cat, 2 bunnies.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And now 3 barn cats.
8, 9, 10. I know. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I fully recognize this is crazy. I can't believe we're getting more pets, right? Okay, get a cart, because we got a lot of stuff to do. Okay, here's one. I guess if we got 2 of those and put them together. Okay, we walked right by it. All right. Hey, here's a double dog door. So we can, this is too small, but this has 2 doors so that we can hook 2 of the doors together. Here's 36 inch, here's 42 inch, here's 48 inch. Single door, there we go, double door. Okay, this is single door, single door, single door, double door. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna leave these 2 up here by the front while we go get all the other stuff.
Yeah.
What's next?
Litter box.
Litter box. Here, how about this one?
Do they need a lid on it?
No. I think this is fine. Let's do this. Actually, let's do this one.
Alrighty.
It's bigger. I think they'll like that better. Okay, now food. Okay, how about that one? Right there. It's right here. Can you lift that?
Yeah.
Good. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're doing this. Right? So, honestly, I think it's a good thing that we're getting a mouse or cats, 3 of them. I texted Jason when I found out about this, about how they were being treated, so sad, and he immediately agreed to it. So, I think it's going to be good for us. I think it's an easy way to deal with the gophers and to deal with the rats.
It's gonna be good for us. It's gonna be good for the cats.
Yeah, everybody will be happy,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, it's just so sad. It just broke my heart. Sadie wants to get them treats.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, get like one of these or something. Now remember, these are not like pet cats, right? They're not going to be as friendly as Jeffrey.
Not as friendly, but like, I don't expect the cats to cuddle with me.
Okay, good. You might not even be able to pet them.
Really?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how friendly they are. Yeah, get one of those. That's perfect. Spoiled barn cats. My goodness. Will it fit? Yes, it will. Boom. All right, we've got everything we need. So we're gonna go home. We're gonna set everything up.
Yes.
And then we're just gonna wait for the phone call when it's time to go pick the kitties up. All right, it is a couple hours later and we have picked up the cats. As you can see, we have 2 cats and a Sadie in the crate that we've set up. So you can see we got 2 big dog crates and we zip tied them together so that they have a little bit more room. So we only have 2 cats right now because they can't find the 3rd cat, the cat that was getting hurt.
Yes.
The cat that was getting hurt, like, ran away. They think he's going to show back up, the cat that was getting...
Probably in a couple of days.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, poor thing, you know, he's probably scared. So the person that was rehoming these cats is going to try and look for him and then call us if he shows up. But honestly, poor thing, he's probably scarred. So these 2 are brothers.
Yeah.
Sadie, do you want to say that one's name?
Albus, Percival, Wulfric, Brian, Dumbledore.
What are we going to call him, though?
We're gonna call him Brian.
So this is Brian.
Yeah. I don't really want to say. Come here,
Albus, Percival.
Wulfric, Brian, Dumbledore. And then
What's
this
that?
one, we're renaming him Crookshanks.
Crookshanks. So you can
Kitty
see
from Harry Potter.
there's a theme here.
Yeah.
And then the one that they couldn't find, we were going to name
Tiger.
Hagrid,
Rubius Hagrid.
but we can't find him. So we'll see what we can do, but these 2 are very sweet. Brian has actually let us pet him, and Brian already ate. Crookshanks is a little nervous, keeps giving Jason the evil eye.
Brian is a stress eater, I guess.
Brian's a stress eater.
Yeah.
So we're just going to keep them in here, let them relax. We'll put a sheet over this. We got them a litter box, and then we also got them this little cat tree type thing. And then we'll just see how they do. So I think so far so good. And then after a couple weeks, we'll let them out and they can start their jobs. Hey everyone, it's the next day. I wanted to give you an update on Brian and Crookshanks. Okay, so they've moved out from the cardboard boxes, made a complete mess with the litter last night. That's okay. And they moved into the little cat cave. You guys okay? Huh? Crookshanks, looks like you're squishing Brian. Oh, goodness. Are you guys okay? Huh? So the poor things are absolutely terrified. They haven't moved out of that cat cave all day. And I tried this morning, I came out and I sat with them for about 15 minutes and I brought some wet food and they didn't budge. They didn't try and touch it. I tried handing them some treats, didn't want it. So they are poor things. Like, I don't blame them. It's tough. We did get the recommendation. I can't remember if I told you guys this yesterday, but we did get the recommendation not to just leave a bowl of food in the crate for them, to actually feed them only when we're here, because we need them to start getting used to us as the source of food so that they stay here and they don't run away, and they feel comfortable kind of in their new home. And I know it's really, really tough for them to be, uprooted and taken away, but honestly, it sounds like it was not a good situation, their last home. It sounds like they were, I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. So I know it's tough, but I think it's for the better. I think that they're going to be much, much happier here. So hopefully they kind of calm down a little bit. At least they're sleeping and at least they have each other. No word on Hagrid, the third one. The third one was the one that was really taking the brunt of the bullying from the little kids. So I mean, if he ran away, good for him, you know what I mean? But if he's still going to stay there, we definitely want to take him home here. So, like I said, kind of a sad story with the cats, but also good because they'll have a much better home here and they'll have a, wonderful job of being chief mousers here at this property. Chief, ratters and mousers and gophers, whatever you call it. So yeah, poor things. It's kind of tough, but I'm happy that they're here. Okay, so I'll leave the kitties to themselves for a while. I'm kind of just keep checking on them all day, make sure they're doing okay. We are having quite a big heat wave coming up in the triple digits, getting up to like 110. So I did just purchase a fan, a battery powered fan, one for the cats and then also one for the chickens. So hopefully that'll be okay. But if we have to bring them inside, we'll bring them inside. So what I have to do today, what I have to do right now in about 45 minutes is I actually have to do a Master Gardener presentation. So for those of you who don't know, I trained to become a Master Gardener last year. I got into my county's program, I applied for that, and then I went through, I think it was 16 weeks, 16 weeks, once a week for 4 hours, training to become a Master Gardener. And it was fantastic. I'm telling you all this because I get this question quite often. People email me asking, how did I like the program? How did I get in? How hard was it to get in? What was the cost? All that kind of stuff. So I love the Master Gardeners program. I think it was so helpful. It made me feel so confident as a gardener. It wasn't necessary by any means. It was not necessary, but it was just something that I was craving more information about gardening, and Master Gardeners was able to provide that for me. So I just think it's just so fantastic. The tough thing about Master Gardeners, so you apply, every Master Gardeners program is different. Usually here in California, the Master Gardeners program goes by county, but I know that other states are a little bit different. Sometimes it's region, but for my program, you apply and then they interview you and then you get in and you go through the course, and to pay back the time and the money and the energy spent on training you, you need to do not only continuing education to keep your education going every year, but you also need to do Master Gardener volunteer hours every year. And that's a question that I get often. People ask me what I do for my Master Gardener volunteer hours. So there's a lot of things that you can do for Master Gardener volunteer hours. There are some places where you can actually go and garden for your volunteer hours. The goal though is to educate the community. That's the goal from the Master Gardeners program, is to educate the community in gardening. So you can't exactly just go and weed a garden and count that as your volunteer hours. You need to somehow involve the community in that. So sometimes it might be going to a garden and weeding and helping the community garden at that place that you're at. So then there's, you can go to the farmer's market and stand at the booths. The thing that I like doing the most is I like doing presentations to the community. So I've done in-person presentations and I've done online presentations. And today I have an online presentation on Zoom, and this one I am doing on the topic of temperennials, which I know I've talked to you all about before. It's just a topic that I find really interesting, and I I can choose what I want to talk about. What temperennials are they are hardy annuals or tender perennials that are sold as annuals throughout the country because it's just simpler for the plant companies to make one tag for the entire country. So it might be a perennial in your zone or a tender perennial in your zone, but it's labeled as an annual. And my presentation just kind of goes through why they do that and what's the purpose of that and how to take advantage of that if you live in warmer climates like I do. So anyway, I do have a playlist with all my Master Gardeners videos from literally interview all the way up through graduation. So I will link that playlist down below if any of you are interested in the Master Gardeners program and what it was like for me to go through. Because when I wanted to interview, I actually looked up and tried to find information about what it was like to go through the program. And I was having a hard time finding anything. So I knew I wanted to film that for my channel. So I'll link that playlist down below. But I thought today I would show you guys kind of like a little behind the scene of my presentation. Okay, here is my presentation. I'll show you that in a minute, but I just realized I haven't shown you all my office in a really, really long time. Like, I don't remember the last time I took you guys through my office. So let me take you through, might as well go with the behind the scenes. This video, I know, is another mishmash of a video, but I might as well show you. So this office, there's my house right there. This office is kind of like a tiny house without a bathroom. It was here when we moved in. It's actually one of the reasons why we got this property, why we wanted this property, because it had this house, this little spot, which is perfect for my office, for like recording and for editing and all that kind of stuff. So this is where I do a lot of my work. I have these shelves right here. I get a lot of people asking where I got these shelves. These shelves are from IKEA, but they are from IKEA like 20 years ago. So you're not going to find them, which is such a bummer because they're so great. They're the perfect size. They fit 2 seed starting trays, 1 deep, 2 side to side. They're the perfect size for these lights, the seed starting lights and everything. It's just such a bummer that they don't make them anymore. So because it's not really peak seed starting season, I don't have a lot of stuff. I do have my sunflowers and my zinnias that I just did for succession sowing. These are my bootstrap trays, and then there's more right there. I still have more outside too. But you can see I just have some plants, just some house plants. I think this is a Rio, a Pothos Rio. It's been a really long time that I've thought, or maybe it's a Brazil, Philodendron Brazil. I think that might be what it is. This is some moss that I had left over from my front porch containers, and I put it in this thing, and then I put this bird in here, and this moss is so happy. It's covering up the bird. I just love it. Some more succulents that I put together, more house plants, another little succulent container that I put together, more house plants. Yeah, just, you know, just kind of all that kind of stuff. This is my seed storage bin that I love. This is from Gardener Supply. I'll see if they still sell it, and I'll link it down below. But it's kind of messy, but I love using it. And then this is a little container that I put in that's not doing well because it actually doesn't have drainage holes in the bottom. So I'm like trying not to water it, but then you can see I'm not watering it enough. I just don't think that that's going to work. And then this is the table that we work at. This is my podcast recording stuff. If I'm doing podcast recording in person, and if I'm doing podcast recording, like not in person, then I'll do it at my desk. That's why I have those lights up there above the screen. And then this is my podcast microphone that I use that makes me sound better. And then over here, this is Courtney's desk that she works at. So yeah, so not super interesting, but it really is where we get most of our stuff done, and I can't imagine not having it. Oh, I did want to show you all my books. These are like half of my gardening books. The other half are inside. All of my Western Gardening Sunset Magazine books are inside, and these are just the stuff that I like to reference. This is my California Master Gardener's Handbook that I reference all the time. Cool Flowers I reference all the time. Botany for Gardeners I reference all the time. Yeah, and other ones here's another, this is the newest Western Garden book. Those are really only the main ones that I reference mostly. So yeah, those are my favorite ones. Okay, on to my presentation. I did want to say I do have my air conditioner on, so if you hear that noise in the background, it's the air conditioner, and it's just way too hot to not have it on. So sorry about that if you guys can hear that. So this is the presentation, getting the most out of your garden center. And so for a Master Gardener's presentation, you want to start off with your key points, what you're going to talk about. So I'm going to talk about what are temperennials, why are perennials sold as annuals, the USDA hardiness zones, taking the plant tag with a grain of salt. I talk to you guys about this all the time on my channel, just not really trusting the plant tag and even not really trusting the USDA hardiness zone. Examples of temperennials, benefits of temperennials, and then tips for success. So, you always want to introduce yourself, and since this is Master Gardeners, they don't want to talk about any businesses or any advertising or anything like that. So it's just a quick overview of what I do for a job. But the reason why I added this in is because what I'm talking about today is basically things that I've learned on my job as a garden content creator. So I wanted to put this in that I get behind the scenes of breeders, growers, greenhouses, IGCs, which stands for Independent Garden Centers, and more. And so this is kind of just showing the behind the scenes look of what I've been able to see as a content creator, where the places that I've gotten into and seen behind the scenes, which has been really, really fun, and the people that I've gotten to talk to, and the things that I've learned about the green industry behind the scenes has just been fascinating for me. It's just been so interesting, and it's made me realize how the business works a little bit better, and why things are a certain way. So what are temperennials? A term that describes a plant that's a tender perennial, but it's often sold as an annual at garden centers due to lack of cold hardiness. And, talking about, obviously this is a familiar concept. We all know what tender perennials are. Now this presentation is to not only Master Gardeners, but it's also to novice gardeners just in the community. So you do have to go into pretty basic definitions. And so one of the things I wanted to point out is that we might have heard of all these definitions, but temperennials can sometimes be an unfamiliar definition because it's industry based. And again, this is taken down to the basics. What is a true annual? What actually is an annual, as opposed to what's a perennial? So a plant that lives for more than 2 years. And then these are perennials that are often sold as annuals. And you can see I don't have super petunias here. I don't have luscious lantana from Proven Winners here, because with Master Gardeners, you don't want to have any brands. You want to have as little brands as possible, because you just want to show the concepts. You don't want to show anything else. So the big question is, why are some perennials sold as annuals? And the answer is market simplification. So basically, if you look just for the United States, not even for the world, there's so many different zones for the USDA hardiness zone, and then the sunset climate zone even goes further than that. And even just in Northern California, we have so many different sunset climate zones. So some of these plants are going to be an annual, some of these plants are going to be a perennial where it is, and so the plant tag becomes a one size fits all. And here's a good example of a Monrovia plant tag that is a peony, and it says full sun, but obviously where I live, a peony cannot be in the full sun or it'll scorch, but someone who lives in Michigan or Maine, it's going to be full sun for. So it has to be one size fits all, because they're only going to print one plant tag for the country. And so here's an example of that. Where I live in Davis, osteospermum is a tender perennial. In Florida, zone 10, it's a solid perennial, but then in Cleveland, Ohio, it's an annual. So a plant company would have to make 3 different plant tags and send them to 3 specific places, and that's just too much resources for those plant companies usually. So these are examples of some of my favorite temperennials. You all will probably recognize these as Proven Winner plants. But of course, because this is a Master Gardener's presentation, I'm just saying petunia, or instead of saying plain the blue salvia, I'm just saying salvia, and so on, not a superbena, a verbena, because again, I don't want to favor one brand over the other. And then benefits, cost effective, it's cheaper. And then also where I live, will go on discount in the fall. So if you can get your hands on some temperennials late in the fall, you plant them, and then you basically get discounted plants for the next season. Longer bloom season, a lot of time and money is spent into breeding annuals for color, for maximal blooms, and so we can get that benefit. If you can get a temperennial that's been bred like that, you can get that benefit of having a really great perennial or temperennial. And then same thing, more color selection. And then I just put in some tips for success, making sure you look into the plant yourself, not just reading the plant tag, making sure you experiment, because you never know. Like heliotrope is only, it's kind of on the borderline of hardy to zone 9 or 10. And so I've just experimented with it. And sometimes it'll overwinter for me, and sometimes it won't. So you just have to try. And then, of course, watch your plants, see how they're doing. Maybe you can take them inside for the coldest, or cover them a little bit during frost or something, and you can get it to overwinter. So yeah, that is my Master Gardener's presentation. So hopefully you guys found that kind of interesting. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section about the Master Gardeners program. I will try and answer them either in the comments or on my Saturday coffee chat. But I do have to say, I think it is a really, really great a great program, and you don't have to do presentations like I'm doing. I'm obviously fine with public speaking, but if you're not, there's so many other things that you can do that doesn't involve public speaking. So I just think it's a great program, and I'm happy to be doing presentations like this. I have another presentation in August that I'm doing kind of like a review on Cultivate, which is where I'm going in July, which is a green industry like expo, and so they will announce new plants and all that kind of stuff. So I'll bring that information back to my community. And then I'm also going to do another one on IPM, integrated pest management, and that's going to be an in-person presentation. So yeah, so this is kind of what I do for my volunteer hours for Master Gardeners. I got to get to my presentation now. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.